It's 2 a.m. A blizzard is hitting the interstate hard. Cars are pulled over on the shoulder, hazards blinking, drivers too scared to move, and right down the middle of that highway, doing a steady 35 miles per hour, is an 80,000-pound semi-truck. No spinning, no sliding, just moving. Hollywood has a very different version of this story. In the movies, the first snowflake hits, and the truck is already jackknifing off a bridge in slow motion. And sure, that happens. It's real. But here's what the cameras never show you. The thousands of professional drivers who run those same roads every single winter night without incident. Quietly, invisibly, delivering the food on your shelves and the packages at your door while everyone else is pulled over waiting for the storm to pass. So what do they know that nobody else does? Today we're pulling back the curtain on winter trucking. We're going to talk about why weight is actually your best friend on ice, the technology most drivers don't even know exists, and the one counterintuitive move that separates a professional from a statistic. And by the end of this, you will never look at a semi in a snowstorm the same way again. The weight paradox. Here's the thing about an 80,000-pound truck that looks like a liability on ice, but is actually a superpower. Your average car weighs about 3,500 pounds. It sits on 4 contact patches, roughly the size of your palm. When those 4 patches hit a sheet of ice, you have almost nothing anchoring you to the road. The car floats, it drifts, and no amount of steering wheel input is going to save you because there is simply nothing to grip. Now think about that loaded semi, 80,000 pounds pressing down across 18 wheels. In physics, that downward force is called normal force, which creates traction. The harder a tire presses into a surface, the more friction it generates, even on ice. More weight, more grip. It sounds backwards, but it is just physics. Think of it like this. If you try to walk across an icy parking lot in sneakers, you slip everywhere. Now imagine wearing a weighted vest with 200 extra pounds on your back. Your feet dig in harder, your steps become more deliberate. You actually have more control. That is a loaded semi-truck. But here is the dark side of this equation. An empty trailer is one of the most dangerous things on a winter road. When the trailer is empty, the drive wheels, the ones that actually push the truck forward, have almost no weight sitting over them. They spin freely, they find no grip, and the trailer behind you becomes a pendulum, swinging on every curve and responding to every gust of crosswind. Veteran drivers call it riding a ghost. You can feel it in the steering wheel, that light, unpredictable sensation that tells you the truck is not planted. It is floating. And floating on ice is where accidents are born. This is why experienced drivers fear the empty run in winter more than any loaded haul. The weight is not the danger. The absence of weight is. The invisible technology. Weight gets you halfway there. The rest of the story lives in technology most people outside of trucking have never heard of. It starts with diff locks, differential locks. Here is the problem they solve. On a normal road, the differential allows the 2 wheels on the same axle to spin at different speeds, useful when turning because the outside wheel has to travel farther than the inside wheel. But on ice, that same flexibility becomes a trap. The moment one drive wheel hits a slick patch, it starts spinning freely. When one wheel spins, the differential sends all the power to that spinning wheel, the one that has already lost contact with the road. The other wheel, the one that is still gripping, gets nothing. All your engine's power is going straight into a wheel that is doing absolutely nothing useful. Diff locks override this. They mechanically force both wheels on an axle to turn at exactly the same speed. No slipping, no power escaping. Both tires push together as a single unit. Modern trucks have up to 3 separate diff locks. There is an inner axle lock which connects the 2 rear drive axles to each other. There is a rear tandem lock which locks both wheels on the rear axle. And on some trucks there is a front axle lock as well. A driver approaching a slick hill will flip those switches in a specific sequence. Inner axle first, and then the tandem, and suddenly the entire drivetrain is synchronized. Every tire working as a team. It is the mechanical version of making sure nobody quits on you. Then there is engine braking. On a long, icy downhill, the absolute worst thing you can do is touch the service brakes. The moment you brake too hard on ice, the wheels stop rotating. When the wheels stop rotating while carrying 80,000 pounds of momentum, the truck does not stop. It slides straight, regardless of where the road goes. Engine braking bypasses this entirely. By downshifting and letting the engine's own compression resistance slow the truck, the wheels keep rotating. They keep gripping. The truck slows without ever locking up. That deep mechanical growl you hear from a diesel coming down a mountain grade is not the truck struggling. It is the driver in complete control, using the engine itself as the brake. What the driver is actually doing, all of this technology is worthless without the person behind the wheel understanding one fundamental principle. Smooth is fast, smooth is safe. Every single input, the throttle, the brake pedal, the steering wheel, is applied slowly and deliberately with a patience that most drivers never develop. A sudden jerk of the wheel on ice does not turn the truck. It initiates a rotation. And once that rotation starts on 80,000 pounds, you cannot stop it with steering. You can only manage it or survive it. Professional drivers call it steering with your eyes. You are not reacting to the road in front of your bumper. You are reading the road 10 to 15 seconds ahead. You are already planning the corner before you reach it. You are already adjusting your speed before the grade changes. You never put yourself in a situation where a sudden input is your only option. Because on ice, sudden inputs are how careers end. Following distance on ice goes from the standard 7 seconds to 12 seconds, sometimes 15 seconds. Speed is managed before the curve, never during it. The technique that separates veterans from everyone else is controlled momentum. On ice, stopping is your enemy. Once a loaded truck stops on a hill, it might not move again. The tires simply cannot generate enough traction to restart from zero. Skilled drivers read stoplights half a mile ahead. They time their approach. They maintain a slow, deliberate roll that keeps the weight working for them. Momentum managed is momentum preserved. 1% when it all goes wrong. So loaded weight helps. Differential locks coordinate the drivetrain. Engine braking keeps the wheels turning. Smooth inputs prevent the physics from turning against you. Why does it still go wrong? Black ice. No warning, no texture, no color. The road looks wet and drives like glass. 1 second you're in control, the next the truck is moving in a direction you didn't choose. Or the empty trailer on a curve, or a patch of road that went from wet to frozen in the last 5 minutes, and no sensor in the world has caught it yet. When a truck starts to jackknife, the driver has approximately 1 second to make the right call. The trailer begins to swing outward. Every instinct, every reflex built from years of driving a car screams the same thing: brake. That instinct will complete the jackknife for you. Braking in a developing jackknife plants the steer axle and lets the rear of the truck keep rotating. The trailer swings wider. The physics finish the job. The right move, the one that takes years to build into muscle memory, is a controlled pulse of throttle. A gentle acceleration. It pulls the drive axles forward, brings the trailer back into alignment, and interrupts the rotation before it becomes irreversible. Counterintuitive, brutal to learn, and the reason trucking companies put their best drivers on the winter routes, not the rookies, not the ones chasing miles, the ones who've earned the ice. Craft versus machine. New trucks now come equipped with stability control systems that can detect a developing jackknife and apply individual wheel brakes faster than any human reaction time. Some fleets are already testing road temperature sensors embedded in the highway that feed data directly to the truck's cruise control. The automation is coming, and it's genuinely impressive. But here's what every veteran driver knows. Systems fail, sensors ice over. Software does not know that the shaded side of this particular pass always freezes 2 hours before the rest of the road. At 3 a.m. on a mountain grade in January, it is still the person in that seat who carries the weight of the decision. Weight, diff locks, engine braking, smooth hands, controlled momentum, the discipline to slow down before you have to. That's not a machine keeping that truck on the road. That's a craft. Do you think autonomous trucks will ever fully replace the winter driver? Or is there something about ICE that will always need a human in the seat? Let me know in the comments. If you want more real trucking talk that skips the fluff, hit that subscribe button.